this time, we'll begin the family portion of the program. I'd like to call up son Derek, who will come forth and begin the program.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Derek Dougstock. I'd like to start off by thanking everyone here tonight. On behalf of my mother, my sisters Debbie, Joey, and our entire family. Many of you, I want to express our deepest gratitude to all of you for being here tonight. Many of you have traveled from far places, from Maui, Big Island, Las Vegas, New Jersey, California, Oregon, Arizona, even Washington. We're truly thankful for your love and support mean the world to us and bring comfort during this difficult time. Making a small change to the program. Originally, I had planned for my oldest son, Jacob, to read a eulogy that I wrote. With your understanding, I'd like to share it myself, and also take a moment to talk about my dad. Jose Douglas Yoro was born on May 19, 1942, in Elba, Hawaii. I know some of you might be wondering, who is Jose? That's exactly what my dad was wondering on his first day of kindergarten. When the teacher called out the names, my dad didn't respond. She asked him, "Are you Jose Yoro?" My dad, confused, replied, "No, my name is Doug." That was the day my dad discovered his real first name. From the moment he came home from the hospital, everyone called him by his middle name, Doug. Only close family and friends knew his real name was Jose. Dad was the third of four brothers, Eddie, Bert, Patrick. He was later joined by two sisters, Jan and Linda. And eventually the family grew to include Shirley, Daniel, Esther, and Jennifer. My dad's parents came from humble beginnings in the Philippines. My grandfather immigrated to Hawaii at a young age to work on a sugarcane plantation in Elba. Family didn't have much. They lived in a house the plantation provided in Elba's Hernandez village. What they ate, they either had to grow, fish, hunt, or barter. Dad used to say that the toys they did have, they had to make themselves. He made swords and guns from tree branches. He built boats from corrugated roofing material and salvaged wood. But according to Aunt Linda, none of them ever floated. He was an inquisitive kid. Took apart a lot of things, electronics, appliances, just to see how they work and see if he can put them back together. He went to Elba School on Renton Road up to 9th grade, and into Waipahu High School. While there, he joined the Civil Air Patrol, where he learned to march and participated in drill team competitions, even traveling to New York City. Dad also had a passion for drawing and calligraphy. In fact, his first job was preparing graduation diplomas with his calligraphy. After graduating from Waipahu in 1960, he decided to join the Army. He became an airborne paratrooper, first with the 173rd Airborne Brigade, and then the 101st Airborne Division, spending most of his service stationed in Okinawa, Japan. After leaving the Army in 1965, Dad started working at Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard. He held various positions, including mechanic, electrician, and eventually a planner. The following year, he married my mom, Debbie, and they had me and my sisters, Debbie and Joey. Dad played a lot of sports, Dad was a man of many skills, including auto mechanics, carpentry, welding, even silk screen printing. He was always quick to help those in need, even complete strangers on the side of the road. One story that comes to mind reflects both Dad's willingness to help and also his holy side. A close family friend, my auntie, was having trouble with her car's brakes. Dad wanted to help fix it. One day he comes into the house, tells me to grab his tools, and meet him in his truck. He drove us past Schofield Barracks Gate on the way to Yoro, where there was a car parked on the side of the road that looked just like my auntie's. I removed the front tires, Dad moved the back. We then started to remove the brake drums and shoes. Working, Dad looks at me, I look at Dad and go, hey, whose car is this anyway? Dad looks at me and says, I don't know, but if you see somebody coming, run. When I was in high school, Dad and I, we never saw eye to eye, but heads a few times. It was about this time Dad started playing golf and fell in love. He tried getting me interested in it, but at the time, the only sport I wanted to play was basketball. To me, golf was an old man game. After high school, I planned to study civil engineering at UH. However, Dad suggested I pursue electrical engineering instead, given the future importance of computers. I followed his advice, but after 3 years, I flunked out and switched back to civil engineering. This extended my time in college, and then I ended up on the 7-year plan. I remember after the graduation ceremony, Dad hugged me and whispered jokingly, I thought you'd never graduate. It was during college, however, that some friends and I started learning to play golf. Eventually, Dad would sneak off work early, and I'd drive over from UH so we could play together on Friday afternoons. Just the two of us. A few hours on a golf course, talking about work, school, life. Really connected. We finally found the common ground, and Dad and I just enjoyed spending time together. After 32 years at Pearl Harbor, Dad retired, which meant he could now golf or fish every single day. And he did. But eventually he realized that doing it too much took away from the joy. He told me, I love fishing and golfing, but if I do this too much, I'm going to hate it. So he went back to work. First as a tour bus driver, then later at the city and county wastewater treatment plant in Marks Point. One day, I'll never forget, January 21st, 2006. I had moved to Las Vegas with my kids, and Manny Pacquiao was in town fighting Eric Morales. It was their second fight, the rematch. Manny had lost their first fight, a very close match. I decided to bring Dad out to Vegas and go to the fight with him. It was at the Thomas and Mack at UNLV. Needless to say, it was a great fight. Pacquiao won by TKO in the 10th round. We were all cheering, celebrating, high-fiving total strangers. When we finally decided to leave, Dad and I walked outside. If you know the Thomas and Mack, there's some very tall stairs and escalators at the entrance. When we entered earlier that night, we had taken the escalator up. But as we left, in all the commotion and excitement, we took the stairs down. About halfway down the stairs, Dad fell. A total stranger and I helped him back up, thinking nothing of it at the time. On the ride back to the Golden Nugget where Dad was staying, he tells me, wow, that's the second time I fell down on this trip. Looking back, this was the first sign for me. A few years later, and after numerous doctor visits and tests, we finally get the diagnosis. Dad has Parkinson's disease. I didn't know anything about this disease at the time, but quickly learned that it's one that has no cure, never gets better, and only progressively worse. As the disease
best time. I also find it interesting that as a kid, he would push and pull me around in that wagon, and then I grew up and I got to push and pull him around in a wheelchair. I guess life does come full circle. As I grew older, I slowly began to understand what was going on with him, because as a kid I was told about his condition, but I didn't fully grasp the extent and the repercussions that came with it. And I grew to have mixed emotions between feeling bad that this is happening to my grandpa and feeling mad, like why did this happen to my grandpa? I feel like he was robbed of so much in his later parts of life, and selfishly, I felt like I was robbed too. That I wasn't able to enjoy round the golf with him or share both of our military stories together when his communication skills deteriorated. I could see him trying to speak, trying to say something, but the words wouldn't come out. And I could tell that he was getting a little frustrated. And yet, in true Papa fashion, he cracked his jaw, smiled, and let me to move. Although there was only one time I saw Papa truly mad, and he didn't try to hide it. And it's a reoccurring memory that pops up at random times for me when I think of them. Might be a little traumatizing, but when Nana and Papa visited us in Vegas, I was around like 8 or 9, and we were downtown, walking downtown. We reached an intersection. The pedestrian signal came on. I tried to dart across the street, but suddenly I heard yelling, and I was yanked back to the sidewalk. A bus had gone the green light as well. It made a quick turn, almost hitting me. When I looked back and looked up, all I saw was Papa's face, furious. I'd never seen him like that. There was an anger and a sprinkle of disappointment. He didn't say a word to me that night after that, and honestly, he didn't need to. To this day, I still blame the bus for him getting at me. But that memory taught me an important lesson. Well, first, to look both ways, but you don't have to be at fault for life to take a dangerous turn. I take that safety precaution everywhere I go in life. Another thing, in that moment of shame, I couldn't help but to think, I've seen that face before, and realized my dad makes the same exact face when he gets mad at me. I get to inherit that same face as well. Because that thing is super effective. You don't have to say a word. The day I found out about Papa's passing, it was midweek and I was at work. I got a text from my dad saying, come see me, and I immediately knew what was going on, and my heart sank. It was the longest and most silent walks I'd ever had to his office. And when I finally saw my dad, we broke down into tears, hugged each other. But my dad also said something afterwards that made me come to a realization. He said, Papa's suffering is finally over. When he said this, I stopped my tears and thought, yeah, he's right. Papa's pain is no longer, he's finally at peace. Last thing I want to say is that every trip we come to visit Oahu, we put flowers on all the graves of all the family members and close friends who are not with us today, but with us in spirit. Those people hold close and dear to our hearts. And now when I get to visit Oahu again, I get to put one more set of flowers for my Papa, who has found peace in heaven watching over us. Thank you.
We were confused as anyone else would be, not really responding to him, until Nana or somebody would say, Papa wants you to grab the ball. You look into the bag and, yep, still empty. Then you pretend to grab an invisible ball, and then he wants you to drop the ball back into the bag. Right as this invisible ball dropped into the bag, he'd flick it to make the noise of the ball hitting the bag. Simple trick, but for whatever reason, as kids, it always got us all riled up. We throw it over our heads, no look, go about 30 feet away, throw it into the bag, and he'd just make the noise with the paper bag as it was hitting. He was very committed to the act, actually. And as a kid, I thought, oh, he's just trying to entertain us grandkids. Maybe even trying to get, us naive kids to believe in his magic tricks. But looking back, I know he was getting a kick out of our reactions too. And that's how most of my memories of Papa are. Him having the time of his life, laughing at his own cleverness, regardless of whether he thought it was funny or not. One time at lunch, someone had given Papa a box of mint chocolates. And he was guarding them like it was treasure, He'd take short moments to quickly eat one in his wheelchair, and then go back to protecting his box of chocolates. I glanced at the box, I caught myself looking at it, and he gave me this sad look before slowly sliding it toward me, like he could already hear Nana forcing him to share his chocolate. I didn't even want one, honestly, but I wasn't going to deny him being, very gracious and offering me one, so I said, sure, Papa, I'll have one. As soon as I reached for it, he slowly brought it out in front of me. As soon as I reached for it, he snatched it he snatched it back very quickly, and he had one hand on the box of chocolates, and then the other in his wheelchair, just pointing at me, right in between my eyes, laughing at me like he'd pull off the greatest prank. Later on that day, I was pushing him around the Red Rock Casino, and we had stopped because we were waiting for someone, and he still had his box of chocolates. And he had actually offered me again the same chocolates, this time closer. I'm not gullible. At least I didn't think I was, but I smiled and I was like, I'm good, Papa. I don't want one, especially after your little prank last night. But he insisted. He even put it closer to my face. So I felt bad not taking one. So I reached out, and I even actually started to say thank you because he actually kept it. It was pretty convincing. And bam, again, snatched back the chocolate. And once again, one hand with a box of chocolates, the second one pointing right at me. And he was laughing. He was laughing so hard, it looked like his stomach was starting to hurt. But Papa did things like that to make himself laugh. But he also did things that were just unintentionally funny. Most people don't know, but Papa was actually pretty tech savvy too. He was always on his iPad playing some game related to gambling, whether it be Keno or Blackjack. But the best was that Papa had figured out how to create an Instagram and a TikTok. So Papa would actually randomly send me selfies, or I like to call them reverse selfies. I call them reverse selfies because I understood that he was trying to take a picture of himself, but it ended up just being pictures of the living room floor. But, and also his selfies were usually just the top of his head, but I got the concept. I get what he was trying to do, so I appreciated that. He'd also send me the most random TikTok videos, some that just made me question how did he even get there? But every time, especially when I was in college, I'd get a message from Yoro as he sent you a message, and I couldn't help but just smile because whatever I would have guessed it would be, I knew it would be something weird. As one of the grandkids, the memory I have of him is full of laughter. I say it's one of the grandkids because I didn't get the disciplinarian side of Papa that my dad and aunties got. But Papa had this amazing gift of turning life's smallest moments and downtimes into something to smile about. We love you and miss you, Papa.
for putting up with me. Then I made it a point to take some time to pray at church, and if we were lucky, we would end up at McDonald's and eat Spam, eggs, and rice. Papa would often enjoy his frappe. It is these small moments in life that we take for granted all too often. I will remember Papa's quick wit and often sarcastic and teasing remarks that often left me wondering if he was actually joking or not. I remember him pushing me and my sister along in the bread wagon as if we were moving at breakneck speeds. And I will remember Papa's hilarious depictions of us as he showed off his drawings during our Sunday Zoom calls. These moments bring joy to our lives, and I will continue to cherish them in memory of Papa. When I think of Papa, I think of his perseverance, humor, and his love of his family, qualities that have been echoed by others here today. His love for his family was only surpassed by his love for Kino. I'm sure he's still picking numbers in heaven. Hopefully he has better luck there. Thank you, Papa, for all the love. May you rest in peace.
Hello everyone, I'm Lauren, I'm the youngest grandchild. I'd like to thank all of you so much for coming today. I'll try to share some of my favorite memories of Papa that I've had growing up. When we were little, we would visit Hawaii, and every day we would always go on our morning strolls along Waikiki with Nana and Papa. We would first go to church, walk along the beach,